Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. I'm with Aja Holiday. We are with MaidCentral, and we're here this afternoon to share with you. This is 3 of 4, I believe.
Yeah.
Kind of a early preview of what's coming in Pulse.
Yeah. We've done 2 already. So coming up today, we'll get into some reporting, communication stuff, and the MaidSenseAI.
Early preview. Is that redundant by definition?
Maybe potentially there might be some redundancy in there, but it catches all the things.
It's kind of like residential house cleaning. Aren't you saying the same thing twice?
Yeah. ATM machine.
Yeah. Machine. Disregardless, something like
Yeah.
that. Disregardless. Let's go ahead and get started here. We've got our fancy deck all ready to go. Here we go. So, okay, so we're talking about the PCI report here.
Yep, just to put it on everybody's radar. Last week was our kind of first one of this in terms of live streaming it or doing it as a webinar series. So just want to make sure everybody is aware of that. This is an ongoing report that we'll be distributing or sharing with the residential cleaning industry every third Thursday at 3:30. That lovely alliteration there to help us remember when it is. So our next one will be November 20th, but the recording for the one last week is up on our YouTube channel. So, and I think you can also access that potentially through the PCI report website or page on our website.
Yeah, we had a good turnout last week when we did this, and it's shaping up quite nicely.
Yeah, very excited about it. It's really cool to see those numbers on a monthly basis.
So if you're ever curious in terms of how you're doing compared to industry benchmarks, this is where you want to be. This is the report you want to get. And after we present it, we kind of explain it and all of that during this webinar. The results are on the MaidCentral webpage.
Yes.
So you can go to MaidCentral.com and fiddle around the menu a little bit. That's all I'm going to tell you. You're going to have to click on a couple of things. Figure it out on yourself.
Stick around. We'll tell you before you jump into Pulse. So we'll tell you how to get there.
Okay. So why are we even talking about Pulse? Why do we need a new version of MaidCentral? Well, things change. The world changes. The competitive forces in every industry change, and the house cleaning world is no different. Large companies are getting larger. We're seeing that. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that $1 million company was considered to be big. Now, $1 million company, at least in the MaidCentral world, could be considered average.
Yeah,
it's kind of the whole median mean thing. That's the median. Like half of the companies on MaidCentral are $1 million or more. And there's a lot of companies that are a whole lot bigger than that. In part, professional management is making that happen. We've got operators who are investing a lot of time and treasure and implementing the same management practices that you see in publicly traded companies, and it's producing results. An example of that is the Inc. 5000 list came out a couple of months ago, and there were 9 house cleaning companies on the Inc. 5000 list. 2 years ago, there were 0. You wouldn't even have thought about that like in years past. But you're starting to see house cleaning companies get up there with all the other industries. And coincidentally, or maybe not so coincidentally, all 9 of those companies use MaidCentral. Let's say that's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
At least we made a contribution. Technology is part of why all this change is happening. We can do things now that we couldn't even consider in years past in terms of automations, in terms of how we communicate, in terms of the data we can collect and the smart business moves we can make from them. And we're just kind of seeing the beginning of that with AI. An acceleration of change is changing faster than what it ever has in the past. So all this is coming, and we've seen a lot of change, but we're going to see a ton of change here in the near future, which brings us to Pulse. We're building Pulse basically to be an AI first product. We're using Pulse as a completely new rebuild of MaidSenseAI. Say completely new. The workflows are going to be the same. The logic is going to be the same. The hierarchy is going to be the same. Same database. If, you're using MaidCentral now, you don't have to worry about moving your data around everything. It's just a real smooth, transition to Pulse when it becomes available early next year. But it's going to be AI enabled. The user interface, the application layer, the app, if you will, is going to be talking to the database all through an API, which opens up a world of possibilities with, AI chatbots, AI, agentic AI, MCP servers, all the really cool stuff that we're going to be doing once we get Pulse in place. I can't wait.
I'm so excited. So kind of our process here has stayed true. So we've talked about from data to done for you in the, the concept of building MaidCentral and how we're using it. So we're just taking this, following the same pathway. So we kind of start with collecting data. That's already what we've been doing, collecting those house reports, house times, job times, scorecards, all of the information that we can around the activities that we're performing in our businesses. Then we take those and we generate reports. That's, that's what MaidCentral is probably best known for, is the amount of reports and data that you're able to get from it. And from there, we're able to kind of give you some insights on it. So the next step after generating reports from that data is identifying exceptions. In MaidCentral, we have a couple of items like that right now called BI, or business intelligence. That's just kind of flagging things that are out of the norm. And that's more of what we're seeing a lot more of that in Pulse, being able to show you what isn't falling in line, what isn't following the rules that you have established in your operations, and letting you know, hey, take a look at this. This kind of needs something. So we're able to take that to another step of making recommendations on that. In current product of MaidCentral, the best example that we have of this, or just like the one that we talk about most frequently, is going to be rate adjustments, where we kind of flag based off of your parameters of this is how much we want to make hourly, and we want to show everybody who's not really earning that amount. And then we give you the recommendation of, okay, based off of this information, you would want to increase this person to this amount. And then you're kind of able to press the button and say, yep, that looks good. Go ahead and do it. In Pulse, we see some of this as well with the scheduling recommendations. If you move something that's kind of flagged, it's going to pull up a recommendation that says, hey, actually, these other spots look a little bit better. This one actually looks best based off of location and technician and all of the preferences that are in place. Do you want to do that, or do you want to do what you're trying to do originally? And then eventually what this can turn into is MaidCentral does it automatically. This could be things with, you've got to skip on Thursday, and, MaidCentral automatically reaches out to your wait list and says, hey, we've got an opening on Thursday. Who wants it, kind of thing. On the simplest measures, that's an example of how we can kind of take the information and the goals that you have in your system and apply it automatically. So that's our overall goal. Pulse is a big part of this. Current version really gets into steps 1 through 4. And we don't have a whole lot of things that do 5. We've got some automations for sure, but getting into making scheduling changes, offering different jobs for different services to other customers based off of what you have open. This opens the possibility for those types of activities to happen for you in the background. So that's a big part of what we've been doing with MaidCentral, and that this isn't really changing. It's just more attainable to get to that step 5 of the data to done for you process.
We need to come up with a graphic, because when we go through this, I think of like a funnel.
Yeah.
At the top of the funnel is just a ton of data, and you don't even know what to do with all of that data. And you can get reports, so it's a little bit, smaller, thing to think about, but still a whole lot there to consider. And who's got time to go through reports all day long? Exception reporting is a much smaller set of data, the stuff that's most important to you. could argue like core KPI reports, things like that would
Yep.
fall into that category as well. Not necessarily an exception report, but it's, you know, just giving you what you need to know rather than a bunch of stuff that you need to do a bunch of mathing on. Recommendations and finally, just automatically, that's kind of like the bottom of the funnel. You're doing nothing. Your business is running itself.
Yeah.
That's where I want to get to.
It's going to be great. So, you know, all of this kind of comes together in that, you know, why we really are not only incredibly excited for Pulse, but really believe that this evolution of residential cleaning software is so important. It is the next step of being able to professionally manage our businesses and know that it is built for our industry. And I think that's just, you know, something that we're able to do, and we're really excited to kind of get your hands on, get it in your hands so that you guys can do it too.
Did I skip one? Here we go. Nope, sorry.
No worries. All right. So yeah, what's new? Kind of just a summary of some of the things that you can expect to see. First thing is going to be our user interface, very updated, modern interface, but also more intuitive. We really want to make sure that daily activities are absolutely no more than 3 clicks for those day-to-day operations, and also trying to keep as many things as possible under those 3 clicks, even into settings and things like that. That's a big difference, you know, between current version and with what's, you know, what's coming out with Pulse is we're able to keep that hierarchy that we've really established is important for the data that we want to collect and understand, but having the freedom now to be able to change how that kind of interacts on the front end and how you're interacting with that data is it's going to be a game changer, honestly. It's just going to be you're going to be able to understand what you're doing and kind of remember your processes a lot easier, because there'll be fewer clicks and fewer steps to kind of get to your results. The next piece of what's new with Pulse is the customization. We really want to make sure that it's applicable to more business models, not just purely residential, but also adding some capacity for commercial. I don't think we'll ever be a fully commercial product, but never say never. But we want to be able to offer more solutions for people who are doing kind of that hybrid of residential and commercial. Employee versus contractor models as well is a big difference for us. And then for large and small companies, different size companies want to use different features or use features a little bit differently, you know, according to their size and their growth goals. And we want to make that possible for people to choose what they're using and kind of build up their total usage of the software as they're using it or as they're growing, and a little bit more flexibility in that capacity. And then our mobile experience is going to exist. I think that's the best way to phrase that. So we really want to make sure that office users are able to, you know, have a day where they have to go out into the field and still be able to make changes to the schedule, look things up, create invoices. I've got a couple of things to show today. Everything that we have, I'll kind of show some of the mobile view. I had another platform I wanted to use that on, but I don't know if I have that up. So, but I'll at least show you what things will look like on a mobile view, and making that a lot easier to use for all business sizes again. Our 2 big pieces of Pulse are going to be the MaidSenseAI. This is a big part of that done for you kind of goal that we want to achieve, is, you know, having an AI that knows what our industry goals are, you know, what to expect in our industry communication things, but also to help us fill our schedule gaps. You know, we've got a cancellation on Thursday. It can offer some solutions to help fill that spot, offering alternatives, flagging risks, and then being able to answer business questions using your data. So being able to ask, you know, hey, my sales are down. Do you see any trends in my data over the last couple of months of things that were working or weren't working? Or, you know, what was revenue like last week? What kind of trends are we seeing with revenue? Being able to really pull out the details from your information and getting to those action insights faster. And then finally, we are expanding our automations immensely. As we've seen on a lot of our other previews, that's going to be our last preview, is actually going to be on automations and a couple of other things. But we can see there's a lot of excitement around this because the possibilities are endless, which is really what we're calling our final preview, is endless possibilities, because the automations are going to be vastly expanded, and allowing you to keep as much of it within MaidCentral as you would like to, and would want, as much as you want to, honestly. We've racked our brains for reasons why people might need to use external automations after this comes out, and we really haven't found anything, but we still have that option available that you can webhook out. We're really excited to kind of dig into that and see all the possibilities with these expanded automations for customers, leads, and our technicians.
And when are we going to hear more about the automations?
We'll hear more about the automations next week. So that will be our final preview on October 29th, same time as now, so 1 p.m. Eastern. You can watch it where you're watching now. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn for these live streams. And that one will go over all things automations. And then we'll probably touch on invoicing and payroll as well. But the bulk of that one is going to be on those automations for sure.
So this time next week.
Next week.
The grand finale for the moment.
We're very excited.
So what are we going to talk about today?
Yeah, so today we're going to be focusing on reporting, communications, and then the MaidSenseAI. I will touch on a couple of things that weren't quite ready last week on the quoting side. So we'll also take a look at our quick quote, and they did a couple of updates on that as well. So I do want to share some of those pieces because we weren't able to look at them last week. All right, so this is our MaidCentral Pulse dashboard, and this is going to kind of kick us off into some of the reporting information that we have. Just as a reminder, this is a preview. We are months ahead of our release, so things aren't connected all the way. Some things aren't, fully fleshed out, but this is a good preview of what we're planning on doing here. So at the top here, we've got the ability to add pinned KPIs. So if I want to go browse our KPIs, right now we've got our core KPIs available. And each one of these, our goal with reporting is to focus on the results. And then if you want to dive deeper into it, you can figure out exactly what's being used to kind of calculate that. So we've got, our different KPIs here. We can pin these up to our main dashboard. And then we've got some additional KPI widgets. And let's say I want to, see if this one will. Oh no. These were just working yesterday. There we go. Here's one so I can kind of go in and see what the history looked like. There was one really good one that let me click into the details as well. Might have been maybe this one. But this is the idea that we want to kind of prioritize with our reporting data presentation, is giving you the summary of where things are at now, and then you can kind of go in and see what was changing, what was happening in past months, and if there's any additional details, and then you can kind of dig in further to the data and really break it down day by day and week by week based on your information. So really excited about this. We've also got a different concept around our reporting as well, we really want it to, right now our current version, most of our reports, the initial phase is that spreadsheet view, right? We want that to be kind of the last stop. We want you to see the results first. And then if you want to dig into it, you can get the spreadsheet stuff, you can export it. And if you want to verify or see what anomalies you might have on that data, you can. So we've got a couple of initial reports here. You notice these aren't any of our existing reports right now in MaidCentral. Our goal with the current reports is to combine relevant data together. We've got a lot of reports that show similar information, and we want to make that easier to find. If you're wanting to look at turnover stuff, right now you can look at 2 different reports, or honestly, even 3 or 4 potentially, to really understand your turnover. We want all of that to be in one place, so you can get all of the information that you're finding on 4 different reports in one report that's kind of reporting on your turnover. So we've got kind of an expense breakdown. Let me get a different one. we'll do a revenue analysis report. So we can look at our revenue analysis, kind of looking at total revenue, revenue per job, recurring revenue versus one-time revenue, get down into the details of, month by month, kind of seeing your revenue trend over time. And then you can change your date ranges. There will be a custom date range here as well, so they won't all be hard coded. And then these would be able to dig into these a little bit further and get more details. So I can click on each month and I can see the breakdown of that month's revenue. Really just being able to dive in deeper, faster. That's our goal. There's a lot of data here. That's what we started with. That was step one. So now we want to get you to those results, be able to identify those exceptions faster, and make decisions on changes you might want to make for that report.
And you're seeing a little more of an emphasis on the trend as well.
Yeah.
Knowing your spot data, what the number is at this instant is good, but being able to then click and see, well, what does it look like in the past and where is it trending, is just more useful information.
Absolutely. So really excited about this. We're definitely still, fairly early on the reporting side, I would say, but knowing that this is kind of our end goal in mind of how we want to really summarize this data and just make it a lot more focused, I think is going to help a lot of people have a better understanding of what their business is doing well and what they need to work on. All right. So yeah, that covers reporting. The next thing we had is I want to talk about communication. So there's a couple of layers to communication. We looked at the customer and technician sides a little bit previously. We had the messages section that you could see kind of Pulse Connect here. What you can also do is we've got our messages up at the top where I can see all of our incoming messages. I can filter them by clients, team, or channels. This is also where our MaidSenseAI is living. So we can filter this down and, summarize this in different ways. We can click into it, see the conversation here. We also are adding the ability to schedule messages, which I'm really excited about. We can shoot a text here and schedule this for, tomorrow at 1 p.m. And it's going to add it here for everybody to see. So, maybe that you want to respond to this person, but you just want to give it a couple of hours or whatever. If somebody else is also potentially following on that ticket or that conversation, they can see that a response is ready to be sent out or that is scheduled to be sent out. So really centralizing that communication into one place through all channels is, priceless here. Sorry, I got distracted by TC's question. Will we be getting actual notifications when we have a new message? I believe so. We do have that currently with the ticket Kanban board. If you have that open on your screen, any new tickets that come up are going to create a ding notification for you. I believe we'll be keeping that in place. I haven't asked explicitly on that yet. But yes, I do believe we'll be keeping that functionality and making it a little bit more robust where it's not attached to a single widget element, essentially. And then we can start new threads here. We can search for contacts. It'll search for customers, leads, or staff. And then it will take you to a new chat or an existing one if there's already a conversation kind of happening there. Both email and SMS will have templates available here. So if you've got a lot of phrases that you like to say or communications that you like to make, you can pull from your templates here as well. So on this, I did click that see all button. That puts it out off of the sidebar and takes over the whole screen essentially. So you've got a couple of different ways that you can use this. On here as well, like I mentioned, we've got our MaidSenseAI. This is where you can start asking questions about your data. Now, I'm not sure if this is good to go yet. I don't think this is connected yet, which is okay. I do want to show the MaidSenseAI in in the current version as well, since that will be coming out before Pulse is released. And it will have similar functionalities. This will just be a more updated view of it. Before I jump into that, I do want to take a back peek at some things that we didn't get a look at before, and that was kind of the quick quote option. So we've got our add lead button here, being able to add a new lead, do a quick quote, or start a quote. What the quick quote is, we do want to kind of combine these together moving forward, so they might not all be 3 different options. But what the quick quote is being able to get a price before getting all the lead information. So if you've got somebody on the phone that's just like, I just want to know how much it is, you can come in here. I don't know what zip codes we have. Guess it's this one, 15201. There we go. Good to know the test environment zip codes, right? But you can choose what service type you want. If you want it to be, what kind of level you want it to be, throw in the square footage, bedrooms and bathrooms, and then it's going to pop out your questions here. And we can look at the difference between the routine clean and the deep clean. And then if you are ready to kind of move on with this and fully turn it into a lead, you can create a lead here, add their contact information, and continuing the quoting process. What we really wanted to highlight here was the things that you want to know at a glance, which is cost and next available dates. So that's what we have here on this quick quote, is being able to show, all right, yeah, your bi-weekly service would be $372 per clean, and our next available date is going to be Monday, October 27th. Or, I don't expect Saturdays to be open for most of us, but that's the idea here, is just to make this really quick and fast and get the information that your customers are looking to get quickly as well. We've got add-ons here, and then we can kind of continue the quote process from there as we'd like to. And this will kind of move it along the process as well. So it'll create a lead. Once you add that lead information, it will move it to quoted as well. So all of that works together. Are you pulling the expense and acquisition cost data from the QuickBooks integration? Not currently, no. I noticed that as well on the report. Most of this is going to be this is placeholder data that we have here, but I did notice the cost per acquisition here. Right now, we're not pulling that out of QBO, and I don't know if that's something that we can pull out based on our permissions, but I do really love that piece of data. So while I don't know how we'll do it yet, I would love to add a way to make that a permanent fixture on this. So some of these things are wish list items for sure, since it's not connected to the database yet. But by adding it here, it keeps it top of mind for us. We can find a way to make that happen. It could be something that you enter in your marketing costs, or maybe we do find a way to connect it into QBO and get that information as well. But one of the goals in releasing Pulse is to also be a little bit more third-party agnostic, so it's not a requirement to have QBO. So we would want to have a way to get that data that isn't purely dependent on a QBO integration.
Technically, it's possible to pull that. We would need to make sure that there's a shared understanding of what a chart of accounts would look like, and you need to have a way of mapping the correct accounts from QBO to MaidCentral. But I know it's in the consideration set. It's probably not going to be coming out in the first iteration, but there's no reason why we can't get to that down the road.
Yeah, I think I keep calling this time like my Christmas wish list time, because I'm just like, everything that I didn't think was possible, I'm throwing it onto the list, because the possibilities are endless. There's a reason that's the phrase that we're using for our last sort of preview, is just because there are so many more opportunities to make changes from what we currently have in the MaidCentral version and what we're going to be able to do with Pulse.
Robin wants to know when Pulse is going to be released. The plan is Q1. We're going to be doing what we call a soft launch. We're going to make it an option. We'll probably start off with just a handful of partners. This is the complete rebuild, so there'll be some tweaking, and there'll be some iteration that we're going to go through that point. we'll have, we fully expect that we'll have some partners still running our current version of MaidCentral well into 2026. We'll support both versions for a while, but once we get rolling, the idea would be to get everybody to move over to this. But we'll probably be setting here well into next year before we've got most people up and rolling on this product.
Yeah, for sure. I guess let me
APIs. Yep.
So the last thing I kind of wanted to show, just to expand on the MaidSenseAI, is, so this is the same feature that will be released in Pulse as well, but we are releasing this part of kind of our updates to version 2, to the current version as well. So what this is using is, we've got a couple of different tools attached to it, a lot of different tools. So you can see, the different current names of some of our reports in MaidCentral that can be used with the MaidSenseAI. We're hoping to expand this list, obviously, but this really touches on all of the major pieces of our business: technicians, customers, quality, revenue, sales, all of that is included in all of these reports somewhere. So you can do a couple of things. We can do a daily performance review as one of our kind of pre-selected lists. You'll see that the AI is typing at the bottom. If you're familiar with using, ChatGPT or other AIs, you can see it kind of typing out for you as it's going on. We don't get the full message until it's done. So it's working on it. And then once it gets completed, it's going to throw this up in here. Usually takes like 30 seconds or so, which feels really, really long when you're on camera in front of people, but less long when you're just waiting for it for yourself. Oh, will you natively support price ranges in Pulse now? Ooh, did you notice that? Yes, I believe so. We talked about that yesterday. It's really funny. I was in the quoting tool call yesterday, and this came up. And I was like, I don't think that we'll have that right away. I don't think it'll be on the first pass. And then an hour later, I had a meeting with the dev team, and he pulled this up and showed me that there were ranges on there. And I was like, oh, wait, is that staying? Is that real? Because that would be really cool. So yes, we do think that we have a way to make this work, and being able to do price ranges for quoting purposes. So very excited about that. I think it'll be really helpful for some people that are kind of getting into the idea of fixed rate pricing, and making that process or that transition a little bit easier.
Okay.
All right, let's go back to our AI. So
Robin, how early in Q1? Appreciate your enthusiasm. Sitting here today, middle of October, we don't know. We don't have an exact date. We'll be able to speak to that a little more clearly once we get to the beginning of the year. But it's coming together nicely. So far, and again, we say this is a plan, not a promise, but everything's coming together to the point where we feel that we'll be in a good position for a soft launch Q1, sometime Q1.
Yeah, we're doing well on our timeline. So, but yeah, we don't want to set an expectation that we can't uphold, particularly around release dates this early. But yeah, Q1 is safe. So here's that AI question that I had kind of submitted, giving that business performance. So here's just like a summary. It's pulling from all of those different reports, giving us, revenue information, jobs completed, jobs in progress, our skipped numbers as well, giving some team utilization, performance based on today, any things requiring critical attention. We've got a scorecard that came in that was a 2 out of, a 2 score, just letting us know that, hey, this is something you might want to look at. Moves and skips, customer satisfaction. And this was just one of our pre-built prompts. So you can really dig into whatever data you want to see. And then at the bottom, it lets us know what tools were used and what date ranges were used from those tools. So if you want to dig into something, if you feel like a number isn't quite what you expected, you can really go into that exact report, pull that same date range and see, hey, this is what I'm looking at. That's why I've got a job that was scheduled for 2 minutes instead of 2 hours. And that's why my hourly rate looks incredible today. But it's not, being able to find those anomalies is a really big piece of using AI as well. So this is something that would be coming out in version 2 as well. And then we'll have kind of a modified, updated version to deal with the reports that we have existing in Pulse, in the Pulse Connect on Pulse. That felt really redundant, but that's the theme of the day today is redundancy. So yeah, kind of a shorter one today in terms of previews go. Any other questions on the things that we've kind of covered? Dashboards, reporting, MaidSense, and Pulse Connect here.
What questions? We had some questions from last week that we wanted
Yes.
to answer.
Yes. So we had a question in the customer pages. I want to say it was under our settings. I don't think we've gotten rid of it yet. We might have already. It was the auto schedule toggle that we had a lot of questions about it. We have decided to remove that auto toggle just because, or that auto schedule toggle, because it felt redundant. Theme of today, since we currently auto schedule, it felt like it was just another extra step that wasn't quite necessary. And it was just kind of a placeholder piece. So that functionality still exists in MaidCentral. That auto scheduling will still exist the way that it currently does. And there won't be kind of that toggle necessary to make sure that it's on or off. But that was one of our big questions from last week. The AI piece to show up, I don't know if you're able to show that one. Robin asked one more question on the AI. When will the AI piece be showing up in MaidCentral? Not looking for a specific date, just a sense that this will be available before the end of the year. Robin also asked, any thoughts on adding 5-star ratings to scorecards rather than the 4-star system? Yes, that will be standard. So all of our ratings in MaidCentral will be using that 5-star system. We even looked at we were looking at inspections yesterday, and it had a 10-point system. We were like, why don't we just make that a 5-star system as well? So everything can kind of be similar, that we're grading on the same scale from all directions. So calculations will still work the same as they do now, but we'll be using that 5 stars in every way, from the technician views, customer views, and our internal views.
So you can't be a 0 anymore.
No, can't be a 0. Only in Krav Maga. No. So nope.
It really does kind of hit your self-esteem. It's I'm a 0.
I don't get anything. No, I think it's funny. I used to explain that to our technicians, and I actually being able to explain it as zeros was really funny. So I was just like, yeah, you don't get anything for getting a 0. Sorry, guys. But the calculation will still be the same. You'll still get, the averages, and the way that we calculate averages will still work the same way that we've been doing it on the 0 to 4 scale, but everything will be presented on the 1 to 5 scale.
That's right. No zeros at MaidCentral.
No zeros here. Can't see any.
Do we have any other questions?
Looks like it's simmered down a bit.
Okay. So next Wednesday, the 29th, the same time, 1 o'clock Eastern. And we're going to wrap up at the grand finale.
Hold on. I do have a couple of updates. I've got the dev team sending me messages. So let me just double check if there's anything that I can show really quick. There was
this just in.
Literally though, and I made a mistake. I forgot to check my chat. So I just remembered that we had this conversation that I was like, oh, just send me anything you want me to say in this chat. And here I go. Not doing it. Oh, looks like it's still not wanting to work. Oh, this link, sorry. Different link to access it. Sorry, guys, I'm just getting a white screen. Oh, nope, it's just taking a second. We're good.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see what this is.
All right, so I'm going to pop this out just so we can see the full view. So we've got some existing conversations here. Show me uninvoiced jobs from last week. Found 3 uninvoiced jobs. Do we want to generate all invoices, review details, or dismiss? Giving some actions here in conjunction with the AI conversation. Optimize tomorrow's schedule for team 3. That's really cool. Love that. The optimized route reduces drive time by 45 minutes and keeps all jobs within their preferred time windows. This is a piece that I'm really excited about. We're really tying all of the suggestions to customer preferences and really focusing on consistency as well. So anything that kind of, diminishes our possibility of maintaining consistency on the team time quality basis, we're keeping that in mind with all recommendations that kind of AI is giving. I don't know how to do a new one. That might need another little update, how I create a new message here. But yeah, this is kind of the updated version of what the MaidSenseAI will look like in Pulse.
And let's see where we are with this next week.
Yeah, I'm hoping to be able to do a little bit more of the mobile deep dive next week as well. The dev team found a different product that is a little more user-friendly to kind of demonstrate mobile views. So I do want to use that next week to really show all of our major pages in mobile, just to give you guys an idea of what that experience will look like as well.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Tisa will be here next week with all the automation stuff. Grand finale. Where do you find the videos we've done? Probably the easiest thing is go to MaidCentral's YouTube page.
Yep. Yeah, I think they're all on the homepage of our MaidCentral YouTube page. So you should be able to see all 3 of those.
And while you're there, subscribe to the MaidCentral YouTube page.
Yeah, help me live out my influencer dreams. give the MaidCentral subscription a little tap.
Yeah. Okie dokie. What else we got going on here?
Yeah, just a couple of reminders. So the PCI webinar, put that on your calendar. I think actually we need to update it on our partner calendar. So that'll be on there if you're already subscribed to our partner calendar. But you can go to MaidCentral.com and then go to kind of the resources menu, and there's a PCI report right there on the left-hand side. It's one of the big graphic bubbles. You can see the past data on that, the current month's data, and then also register there as well. And then we also do want to make sure that we're kind of talking about smart payments here. Smart payments is our way of kind of passing credit card surcharging to your customers, removing that from your expense line essentially. And if you're getting a 10% profit margin, that can turn into an easily 10 to 20% increase on your profits. So if you're not currently using Pastry and Smart Payments with MaidCentral and you're interested, give us a shout. You can shoot us an email, shoot us a support ticket, any of the above, and we'll get you in contact with people that you'd like that can help you with this or answer some questions if you're not really sure on that process yet. But we've got a couple. I think we had a webinar. Do we have a webinar on this?
We do have a webinar on this. I'm trying to figure out when it is. It's next Thursday, the 30th. Time is what I'm a bit sketchy on. Let me see if I can dig that up here. I believe it's 3 o'clock Eastern. I will confirm that. I don't have it on my calendar. It is next Thursday, though. I bet it. You know what? You go to MaidCentral.com and look at events. It'll be
go to events. There we go. MaidCentral.com/events. Great page to keep bookmarked. We keep that updated with all of our upcoming.
We're gonna test this right now. Okay, here we are right now. Go away. It's on the 30th. Yeah, it's next Thursday. Liz and I are doing a promo for ISSA convention on the 29th at 3 o'clock as well. So
lots of times to see your face there, Tom.
yep. Okay, now want to call this a wrap?
We are good to call it a wrap. Yeah.
Okay, we need to follow Robin's page too.
I'll follow you back, Robin. I'll give you a follow back.
Okay, so we're going to call this a wrap. Everybody have a good rest of your week. We'll see you back here this time next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.